Chapter 1: The Problem and Its Background. Introduction. The digital transformation of education is the integration of digital technology into all areas of education, delivering value to learners and fundamentally changing the way they operate. Information technology learning is expanding. IT becoming faster, more user-friendly, and more wide use on campus, libraries and learning centers, office, and homes. Their attractive commitment to greater learning, productivity, and performance is reinforcing their appeal to bureaucrats, managers, policymakers, and students. As a result of these and other developments, learning skills are central to all areas of education. At the same time, learner, learners' needs are changing in response to major economic, social, political, and technological changes. Classroom-based learning is less acceptable and if necessary, learners are demanding new learning methods that reflect the needs of their work and lifestyle. Adapt- Adaptability, portability, and interactive learning, as well as appropriate and relative support resources. It is uncertain which teaching mode and pedagogy would work better for online education, while suspending classes without stopping learning helps to prevent hasty copying of the offline curriculum to online teaching. There has yet to be a generally accepted consensus about how such copying can be avoided by teachers and students. Furthermore, more research is needed to determine how to account for and incorporate the specific characteristics of online education into everyday online teaching and learning. Concept and framework. Input. Knowledge requirement. Background of this research. Respondents. Survey questionnaires. Consent letter. Process. Gathering data. Conducting survey. Output. Provide hypothesis. Tabulation of data. And data analysis. Statement of the problem. The increased usage of technology can have a positive and negative impact on the mental development of adolescents and children depending on the trends in usage. However, parents should be monitoring their children's mental health and behavior in these difficult times of pandemic. In this study, we are going to discuss the psychological effect of the digital transformation of education and the learning modalities and different technologies tools to make the digital transformation possible. Hypothesis. There are adverse effects of digital transformation of education of the student, especially in psychological aspects, and it is intensified by the pandemic. Due being isolated and kept away with their peers. Significance of this study. This study will help the parents, teachers to guide their children and students, as well as help the student to identify their bad habits in using mobile gadgets and computers. Scope and delimitation. The actual survey will be administered to selected second-year BSIT students during the, the school year 2021-2022, and this study will focus on IT students only. There are three definitions of terms. Bureaucrats, an official in a government department, in particular one perceived as being concerned with procedural correctness at the expense at the expense of people's needs, inadequate, lacking the quality or quantity required, insufficient for a purpose. Inequity occur when bias or unfair policies, programs, practices, or situations contribute to a lack of equality in education performance, results, and outcomes.
Chapter 2, Review of Related Literature. This chapter presents some theory of related literature and previous study related to this study that is being published in books, theses, and also in the internet. Related literature. In the midst of the COVID-19 outbreak, the Chinese government initiated an emergency policy plan called Suspending Classes Without Stopping Learning to continue teaching practices as schools throughout the country were closed to contain the virus. However, there is controversy and debate regarding what to teach, how to teach, teacher and student workload, the classroom environment, and the consequences for educational equity. The policy may face difficulties due to following factors: the vulnerability of the online teaching infrastructure, teaching inexperience, including unequal learning outcomes caused by teachers' varying experience, the knowledge gap, the dynamic environment at home, and so on. As a result, education practitioners are undergoing a complex phase of assimilation to new circumstances, resulting in high-stress situations. Before COVID-19, the faculty at the Beijing Jiangtong University, Wei High Campus, did not teach or offer courses online. However, as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, the BPU is refreshing its approach to online teaching and learning. COVID-19 has caused obstacles in continuing normal life almost everywhere in the world by causing the implementation of social distancing and eventually imposing the lockdown. This has become the reason for the increase in technology usage in daily life for professional work as well as for entertainment purpose. Education was heavily impacted by the COVID-19 pandemic. Children are experiencing restlessness and stress in adapting to distance learning. YouTube Kind is a tool that has enabled the potential to increase informal learning and entertainment opportunities for children. As for adolescents, among the factors that influence subjective well-being is studied in American context. During the first months, April-August 2020, of the coronavirus pandemic, experimental studies have focused on a possible higher incidence of addiction to technologies and the network in adolescents because they spend more time with the virtual. Related studies. There is a handful of established, thoughtfully developed national and international assessment to which technology-related items might be added: the National Assessment of Educational Progress, NAP samples achievement in reading, mathematics, writing, and science among other subjects in USA. 5th, 8th, 12th graders, all states that receive Title I funds must take part in the NAP assessments are combined to provide a representative national sample. NAP results are reported on the national and state level and by region of the country, but not by school, district, school, or individual student. The finding revealed that the students have computers and internet facilities at home and universities. They are expert at simple skills like Miss Word, Miss PowerPoint, searching and browsing at internet, social networking, email, file attachment, and computer games, but are less skilled or poor on other skills like using digital library, discussions forums, and blogs. Students spend more time on computer for recreation and other purposes than for academic purpose. All students from elementary to high school need greater exposure to a plethora of technologies in the classroom. but many schools may not be meeting this need. Balkan 2016, many students are found to have the capability to use technology, as well as the access to do so at home, and many of those utilize it for educational purpose. The Consortium of Chicago Schools 2019. The variation in student and teacher use in the different schools is directly related to the culture for technology integration in the schools with a more positive culture toward technology integration. More students and teachers to learn how to teach in manner that will best reach their students. Their training begins at the collegiate level.
This is our Chapter 3, a brief discussion of the research design, data gathering method, data gathering procedures, and plans for data analysis used in analyzing data is presented. Research design. The study uses quantitative research and phenomenology approach to gather information and data. The researchers will be used camera to pictures of those respondents who are answering the questionnaires, and it will serve as our documentation while conducting a survey. The gathering procedures. As the researchers have gathered data, the research have understood that in going to study, I will undergo inconvenience because of the limited of time and monetary consideration is gathering of information about the study. The researchers are taking it diligently. The guidelines of ISU regards to the respondent that the respondent have participated in their own will and consent of the consents that the researchers have been used in the study are appropriate. Respondents showed their commitment through answering the questionnaires voluntarily with sincerity and honesty, which made the realization of the research undertaking possible. Confidentiality procedures. It is in keeping on the guidelines of ISU just justify certificate of confidentiality. The researchers will have some exchange information from the expert of the study for the research to make the precise plan for data analysis. The statistical statement of the data to employ will be frequency. The percentage will be utilized to be the describing the two profile of the respondent in terms of age, gender, year, and section, the perception of the digital transformation and education in COVID-19 process and its psychological effect on children.